94.9 The Rock, France, Doug Elliott, how are you? Here we are today. We're going to do some more quarantine cooking. Christian Pritchard, executive chef, Aurora Importing. I'm in the house, stuck here, but I got good stuff like you do at home too. We're going to make a very quick old school sugo, which is a tomato sauce with your pasta. All the basics right here. So to make a real basic great tomato sauce, you need a few things. You could have real live tomatoes. I've got a passata, which is called a puree. You could also use tomatoes in the can and reduce them, no problem. I like to use a little vinegar, of course, some great olive oil, salt, garlic, onions. I'm gonna put in some sage and rosemary to give it that Tuscan flavor. Pasta, very, very important. When you buy your pasta or you've got the pasta there, look for the more white colored ones. The ones that are yellow are not slow dried. Slow dried pasta means the starchy content is still on there. When you boil your pasta, you will have even more salt content and starchiness in your water. All very good. Okay, so we want some onions. I like big chunks. Some people like small. It's all good because you can either puree it or have it chunky. It's all good. I put a little bit right into a very hot pan to start. Even without the onion, this is a trick I learned from some South American buddies who like the sugar in the onions to be really, really good. Cloves of garlic. Whack. Already in just as so. You like two? I know you do. And then olive oil. Oh yeah. And your love salt. Woo! Olive oil in. Good amount, good glug. Nothing wrong with a lot of good fat. Turn that around. Get them going really good. I like to give it a little rosemary and sage. You don't have to. If you've got some parsley, things like that are good. A little basil. Make it your own. Give it your signature. It's like you got 12 notes to play with in rock and roll. This is kind of like E. Rockin' notes. Understood. Tiny bit of apple cider vinegar. A little more pepper. Remember that skit? SNL? Pepper.
In Pepperboy.
Say when? When? A grat.
Adam said.
Now the important part is to feel everything come together. You're waiting for those natural sugars to come out of the onions and garlic. And when it's in with that fat of the olive oil and that little bit of astringency from the vinegar, it all comes together. And those herbs, oh, the aromatics. We haven't even added the beauty part, the tomato.
Exfoliate. Great for your skin.
Come here. Look at the caramelization happening. Come right in. Oh, it's all coming together. Time to add our puree of tomatoes. Or if you have tomatoes. Exfoliate. Passata. This is nothing but pure tomatoes from Italy. Absolutely phenomenal. Oh. And you got a little left? Don't waste it. This is where we can add a few things. You know, pre-cooked meat if you want. This version we're not. Things like anchovies give it just an incredible salty sea taste, which is great, like a marinara. Olives, fantastic. All sorts of stuff. Red peppers. Have fun. Make it yours. Don't forget to lower your heat just a tad to let it simmer. This is where you can let it simmer short or a long period of time. The long period of time will give it density and sweetness, which is oh so good. Tiny bit of heat. Pepperoncino chili flakes. As Luba said in the 80s, let it go, let it go. Or is that the Frozen movie? whatever. Funny, but the one thing that your water really, really needs at a high boil point is salt, and a good amount of salt. Let it taste like the ocean. That will make your pasta absolutely perfect. Once again, as I said, when you buy your pasta, look for the pasta that's a little more white because you'll feel the grains of the starch right on it. That means it was dried over a longer period of time, 18 to 24 hours. So when you make your pasta, it will be absolutely perfect. Gives you good starch, which you can add to your sauce also. And remember, your water ratio, 4 or 5 to 1. Extremely important. Meanwhile, in the pot, phone call. Meanwhile, back at this pot, our pasta's in there swimming. It's got lots of room to swim. One really important thing to think with pasta. Would you swim in a wading pool? Nope. Why would you let your pasta do the same? Lots of water. Don't forget to take out some of your pasta water because you might need it at the end also. Okay, so your pasta, if you want to do al dente, it says on the package the time. Usually it's 7 to 8 minutes. On the front of your pasta package, it'll give you the time. It depends on the cut. It's usually a little different. My train of thought is go 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the cut, before that to get a good al dente. So now the al dente right out of the pot. Don't worry about the draining, at least with spaghetti and things like that. Right into the pot. Whoops. You want that starchiness to add. Bring it together. And remember, because you put the pasta right in, the starch will pull the sauce, that beautiful sugo, the tomato sauce, right onto the pasta and make it absolutely perfect and delicious. By the way, if you rinse your pasta,
don't ever talk to me again.
Just a little trick I learned from Nona's working in Tuscany. Come here. With your sugo, the sauce, wipe it off the sides. If your pasta is nice and starchy, it'll all come together. If you feel your sauce is a tiny bit thick, don't worry. Remember, you've taken that beautiful salted, starchy pasta water. Just a tad. We'll loosen it up and make it absolutely perfect. And for those of you in the Durham region who doesn't know what a chiffonade is, it's like rolling up your herbs and cutting them. Well, here we go. Don't forget to get a beautiful red wine. And if you like wine, a white wine, cool. Beer, great. Cider, great. I got my Wapoos wine here ready to go from Picton, Ontario. One of the best. This will be momentarily. And here we go. Oh, yes. Basil. And this is if you've got some formaggio, great cheese, put it on there. And remember that sawdust you have in the stores, those little plastic tubs, no good. Real Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, but Grana Padano, a pecorino, scraped right on there, beautiful. Folks, salute and rock and roll. Zeppelin, baby. Dinner is served.